Yo, what up guys, Ross Scalps here, and in this video, I'm reviewing Kung Fu Panda 4. Alright, so I wanted to watch a movie today that was kind of like a sci-fi phenomenon, a thrilling story, captivating visuals, along with a stacked cast. So, I went to watch Kung Fu Panda today.
Woo! There we have it, ladies and gentlemen, an endorsement from Mr. Wait.
But no, I went to see Kung Fu Panda 4 today, and I'll just start by saying this. I didn't watch these movies growing up. Like, I think I saw like clips of the first one, or maybe I did watch the first one, but I just forgot. But I don't remember watching any of them. And so I binge watched all 3 movies this week. Just in the last few days, I watched them all basically back to back in preparation for this one. So I had a grasp on the characters and the stories and everything. And honestly, after watching Kung Fu Panda 4, I would have to say that this is probably, in my opinion, the second best movie out of the 4. Now, I want to clarify, I don't think any of these movies are bad from this series, but I think 2 and 3 kind of were just 2 wasn't as bad as 3, but I feel like it was kind of like this, and then 1 was like this. But I feel like 4 was just a little bit different. And even though I don't have any nostalgia for these movies, it was nice seeing like the characters come back. Like Tai Lung, him, and then Shen. And then even the other one, the Ox, and like other people coming back for this movie and their roles in it. It was just cool seeing them part of it. So you already know what to expect from a Kung Fu Panda movie. It's Jack Black, as Po, with Master Shen, the Furious Five, which they are not in this movie much. Literally, they're talked about, and then they show up at the very end of the movie. They are not in this movie. And, for some people, that might be like a turnoff, right? It's like, what's the point of watching it? But actually, I feel like they didn't need to be in this movie, in my opinion. I think they had enough going on where you didn't really need them. And it was kind of like, in my opinion, a Cars 3 type movie. It was kind of like that story. There was also that with a side story of Poe's 2 dads kind of going out their way to try and help him. And so those 2 stories combined, I think, made it so you didn't really need the Furious 5. But along with that, there's also the Chameleon, the new bad guy, right? Who's trying to gain the power of Kung Fu. And she does that by taking the powers of all the people that Po has fought, all the leaders and the enemies he's had, and she basically takes their skills and applies them to herself. And so Po has to deal with her along with his internal situation. And that's basically the movie. And I'll just start going to some of the pros I liked. One thing would be kind of like the dynamic in the relationship with Po and Zen. I think their chemistry was, fairly good. And just the arc that they had, I think overall was probably what I enjoyed the most, from how they met and what they were both driven by to at the end, how they end and now what inspires them. I think that was probably one of the things I enjoyed about this movie, along with the visuals. They have pretty good visuals in here, good fight scenes like always, and there was some comedy in here that made me laugh a little. That along with the story, I think the story was pretty good. It's kind of something different. The Chameleon's taking everyone's powers from the past, all the enemies from the past. She's taking their powers to become the greatest warrior, the greatest fighter ever. And along with that, the side story of the 2 dads that he has going to try and help him as well. I think those 2 storylines were pretty good, but overall this is a good movie. I mean, you know what you're getting from a Kung Fu Panda movie, and basically what they did in the first 3, they do in this one. But in my opinion, they do just a little bit better, and those are some of the things I liked. Now, one of the cons I would start with is the Furious 5 is not in this movie. They're talked about at the beginning, and then they're there at the very, very end. And to me, that wasn't necessarily a con because I didn't feel like you needed them. I think they had enough going for them that you didn't need them. But they are kind of a staple for this franchise, and so I understand that some people are kind of turned off by the fact they don't have them or whatnot, and so that is one of the cons I would start with. I think another thing I'd say it's kind of like the second and third movie, where it's just a weaker version of the first one. I don't think the first one can be really replicated. Along with that, it's kind of predictable. Certain things, right? Certain aspects of a story or the arcs, I feel like are just kind of predictable. Not saying it's bad, but there's, nitpicking here and there. But overall, I think this was a good entry for the franchise. I really enjoyed the returning characters, Tai Lung and all of them. I really enjoyed the story, how they went a different route from the Furious 5 that they usually do. And just the chemistry between Zen and Poe, I thought was good, and always the comedy, the visuals, the fight scenes, and kind of the ending message that they try and give you throughout the movie. I think all of it was solid. But to me, I'd say this is my second favorite movie from this series. With all that being said, I think I'm going to give this the Piston Cup. But those are just my thoughts. Comment down below what you guys think if you saw this movie. I'd be curious to know your rankings and what you thought of this movie. If you liked certain story aspects or if you didn't. And so comment down below. Thank you guys for watching another movie review. And with that being said, I will see you all next time. Peace.